Just Timesheets is a relatively simple configuration of time at work that enables employees to record time against clients, projects, and optionally tasks. They can also request absences, and both timesheets and absence requests are authorized by an employee's line manager. The system will also calculate fees for time on chargeable projects, and there are a number of different fee tables that can be set up with fees by employee grade or by combinations of employee grade and project or task. You can also enter estimates for projects and for tasks and compare actuals against project estimates, and there's a wide range of reporting and different reporting perspectives. Let's have a look at some of these. First of all, timesheets. A timesheet will look like this. You can have weekly timesheets or you can have bi-weekly timesheets. In this configuration, it's weekly. And you can record time in hours and a quarter or in other denominations. Here I'll say that I'm recording 4.25 hours. I can also record a note about this time. And you'll see there's a clock as well that enables you to record additional time. For example, now you see it says 4.25, which is 4 hours and 15 minutes. If I start the clock, it will immediately round up to 4.5. Stop the clock and take that back to the timesheet. You can have projects for such things as administration, sickness, meetings, and so on, but obviously more importantly, you can have client-oriented projects. This project here does not have tasks, but if we choose another project, I think perhaps this one, you'll see that there are tasks for that project. We can remove tasks entirely from the system if that's more convenient for you. Timesheets are filled in, and once completed, I'll just complete this one with 8 hours for every day. I think in this configuration 7.5 hours is standard, but you can record more than 7.5 hours. If we submit this, you'll see that the timesheet is sent to this employee's line manager for authorization. Absence requests, an employee can create a new absence request or cancel another one. Simply put in a request for example, annual leave, from date, and a to date, and whether or not it's whole days or half days or quarter days. We'll say whole days, and you'll see if I click on save and validate, this will say 5 days, and I submit this, and again it will go to a line manager for approval. Now in both of these cases we can make the system more complex if you need it to be. Timesheets can have additional fields, and so can absence requests. As I said, once a timesheet is authorized and posted to the system, fees can be calculated. Now fees can be held in a variety of ways, but let's look first at the structures of the main data items in the system. You saw that we have clients. We have a dummy client to which internal projects such as administration, sickness, training, and so on would belong. And then you can have external clients such as these. Each client can have a number of projects that belong to it. Client 01, for example, has 2 projects here. If I click on that, we can filter by that. And see project name. If we look at the individual project, you'll see that there are a number of fields that are important. A code and a name, a description if it's useful for you, and analytical fields. In Time at Work you can have up to 40 analytical fields against project. In this case, in this ready to go just timesheets configuration, we have only these. Cost centers, which you can configure yourself, locations, whether or not this project is considered as available time or utilized time. That's for utilization reporting. estimated hours for the whole project, the status of the project. These are also customizable fields, and the project type, whether it is chargeable annual leave or any of these. This project type is used for reporting purposes. And below project, you can also have task, if that is useful. So various of these, this project here, for example, has 3 tasks. The reporting in the system is very extensive, and there are really 4 perspectives for reporting. There's the administrator's perspective, and this user here, 0000, is the administrator, and consequently sees everything. Sees reports that begin with the word my, which every employee would see. Sees reports that begin with my teams, which every line manager would see. Sees reports which begin with my projects, which every project manager would see. And sees reports that begin with the word all, which are the reports that managers of the whole company, of your whole company, would see. You can manage these perspectives using this tool here. You can group them together, so the administrator is just this particular employee. The company managers are these. The line managers are these. And the project managers are these. When each of these employees logs in, he or she will see the appropriate reports. Now, we saw client, project, and task. We can also look at employee. Employees also have certain required data, such as code and name, email address, login credentials, and again they have analytical fields, such as the cost center, the location, the grade, which will determine the fee rate that will apply. These, cost center, location, and grade, are customizable by you. You can set up the values that you want. Not every company would have precisely these cost centers. And you can enter an hourly cost as well, so that you can run employee profitability and project profitability reports. Let's just look at 1 or 2 of those reports, just to get some idea of what the system is capable of. This, for example, all client project KPIs. This is a report that will show for each project in the system the number of days that have been worked, the fees that would have been charged at a default rate, which is the default rate by employee grade, the actual fees that you've charged, which may be different for particular projects, tasks, or clients, a variance if there is one, and a provisional fee rate, a cost, and a margin. I say provisional fee rate here because when it comes to invoicing, which you would not do in just timesheets, but in other pre-configured versions of Time at Work Cloud you might, it could be that that provisional rate is reduced or increased by discounts or markups. But in just timesheets you'll see these provisional values that show what the fees would be and what your costs are. It's a notional cost, of course. It's a matter of debate how you, what cost rate you would use for an employee, whether you would take all employee direct costs and divide them by the total number of hours in an employee's annual calendar, or divide by the total number of available hours, or divide by the number of hours that you expect to be utilized on chargeable projects. That's up to you. But whatever cost you calculate per hour for employee, you would see here a notional margin. We would also have utilization reporting, and so for example here we might have all utilization by month to just show you utilization across the entire company. If you're running a team, then you would have a report called My Team's Utilization by Month. This is showing, in effect, overutilization in May and then declining utilization thereafter. So that is just timesheets. You've got time capture against chargeable and internal projects, the possibility of calculating fees, the possibility of calculating costs. We've got absence requests, which incidentally will also pre-fill a timesheet for an employee once the absence request has been authorized. We've got utilization reporting, project profitability reporting, and reporting of estimates, project estimates against actuals. Here, for example, is a report that shows for each client and project the estimated hours and the actual hours so far reported. And all of this is pre-configured, but it doesn't limit you. If there is more that you want, if you want additional fields on timesheets or additional kinds of reports or additional analysis of employees, projects, tasks and clients, then all you have to do is get in touch with us and we can add such fields and capabilities to your system. So that's just timesheets. Thank you for listening.